We get all of that. We also understand what we as black people and as black folks, black men have to deal with. And by the way, to some degree, we still deal with a lot of things, and we all know it. Racism is alive and well. Bigotry and prejudice is alive and well. We get all of that. But you're going to bring up a photo of him when he was 14, 15 years old, 65 or 66 years ago. This is where cancer culture gets into the mix, and you understand that. We get all of that.
So you see it. So Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Massa, can I have another one? Stephen A. Smith is basically giving Jerry Jones a pass. So Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, he's about 80 years old. The most narcissist owner of all sports. He has his own press conference in the locker room as if he was out there catching football passes and running routes and shit. And this picture has gone viral of Jerry Jones, which looks like some kind of white protest against integration back in the day. He was supposed to be 14 years old. Look, what's the difference between that and Stephen A. saying he was 14? How many athletes and people nowadays get villainized get vilified because of what they posted on Twitter 10 years ago? Remember Kevin Hart had to do a apology tour. He had to walk around, shake hands, kiss babies because of a tweet that he said 10 years ago? Like, come on, man. Like, this happens all the time to other people of color in particular, and just other people in that sports world. I mean, Josh Allen had some tweets people pulled up from 10 years ago where he was saying some wild shit. You know, some wild stuff. You know, a lot of us, if you could pull up stuff we did as teenagers, we would be looked at funny too. But I'm not giving Jerry a pass for this. You know what I mean? I get it. His background, you a white person, you grew up in a dominant white society. He came from, Jerry Jones, I believe, is from like Oklahoma or something like that. Yeah, very country, very hard to understand Jerry speak. But no, that's where he comes from. That's his culture. That's where he was programmed. That's what he knew. You know, this is also one of the many NFL owners. He's been an NFL owner since 1989. The Cowboys, he's owned the Cowboys for over 30 years. They've never had a black coach. Ever. I think they had one black quarterback, but they've never had a black coach. You know, and there's been some pretty bad white coaches, you know, whatever, say what you want, coaches that happen to be white that were very overrated that should have got the boot. Jason Garrett was there for like 8 years because he was Jerry's, you know, like stepson. He was the backup quarterback for the Cowboys, and he basically had the job because Jerry was his buddy. He didn't deserve that job. There was plenty of other candidates, African American included, that could have had that job. You know, like Jerry Jones just comes across as the typical wealthy white man, and he sees the world a certain way. And, you know, I remember even when they had the whole Kaepernick thing, when they made a big deal about taking a knee, and Jerry went out of his way to take a knee with the players. He was the only owner that did that, mind you. He wanted to put on a dog and pony show. Look at me doing what this is what you niggas want, huh? Look at me. You know, like, it was crazy. And to see Stephen A., after he stepped backwards and when he seen the buck breaking that was taking place with Kyrie Irving, and Stephen A. was man enough to call out the Brooklyn Nets for the way they did Kyrie Irving and call out the hypocrisy, the racism, and now 2 weeks later you right back chucking and jiving, asking for biscuits. You know, I have a feeling somebody at Disney, someone at ESPN told Stephen A., you know you can't do that. You know, now they don't care about Jay Williams, obviously. He kept that tweet up. Jay Williams is on a little show with Max Kellerman and Keyshawn Johnson every morning. They don't care about that. But the face of the network, oh, they going to make him backtrack and stay in lines. You keep doing what Charles is doing. Charles Barkley just came out and said some other crazy shit about black people just recently, the other day. You know, like, lead the charge. Stay on code. And Stephen A. is back on code once again. This is what they want him to say. You know, and like I say, sports is really crazy because these owners, these billionaire owners, can do anything, and they are not held to the same standard as the players. You know, like Jim Irsay owns the Colts. He's had like 5 DUIs. He still owns the team. Because you can't really punish a billionaire. You know, Robert Kraft got caught getting a hand job at a massage parlor. What was his punishment? There was none. He paid his way out of it. Wealthy white men like that don't get punished. You know what I mean? Jim Irsay had like 5 DUIs. He still owns the team. Let a franchise caliber player have that many DUIs. They're not in the league anymore. They're sent to rehab. They're suspended. It's everything. They get put through the ringer. But these owners, you know, the most punishment I've seen, Donald Sterling had to sell the Clippers. That's all I can remember. But they, other than forcing you to sell, they really don't punish these owners, and they hold them to a really high standard. It's not fair, and rather it was in the past than not. You know, are they going to hold Jerry Jones to that fire? I doubt it. You know, things are just different. Nick Bosa from the 49ers, somebody pulled up old tweets from him from 10 years ago. He was on there on Twitter saying the N-word. Now, is he a changed man? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I didn't see people really pressing him about that. But then again, like I say, y'all hold these owners to a high standard, to a low standard compared to players. And I mean, I get it. People pay to see the Cowboys, the players, but Jerry Jones is the real face of that franchise. Period. He's the one doing all the interviews, the pressers. He's their PR rep. He's everything. He's the face of that franchise. No, not a coach, not Dak Prescott. It's Jerry. Now, how do the black players on the Cowboys feel seeing these pictures go viral with their owner, who I'm sure most of them love Jerry? Michael Irvin loves Jerry. Most of them love Jerry. You know? But when you start looking at it politically, you like, man, you know, 80-year-old white man from the South. What do you expect? I'm not surprised. Yeah, that's why I didn't even talk about it originally. I was like, oh, okay, and I kept scrolling. I wasn't surprised. He's an 80-year-old wealthy white man from those good old days. What were you thinking? You know, but yeah, to see Stephen A. giving him a pass, it doesn't shock me at all. Stephen A., I'm pretty sure, had a swift talking to when he decided to stand up for Kyrie Irving. And let me give a shout out to someone who a lot of people don't like, and I used to get on him too, Jason Whitlock. Jason fucking Whitlock has been talking that shit since he left Fox. They parted ways. You could tell the battery is coming out his back. You know, he's unprogrammed himself from the Uncle Tom or whatever he was considered for many years on ESPN and Fox. Since he stepped away from that media, source, that powerful media source, that white-owned media source, and he's doing his own thing now on YouTube. He's talking freely as a 50-year-old black man, and he kicking it and telling it how it is. And he been standing up for Kyrie also. So shout out to Jason Whitlock for keeping it a buck and, standing up. You know, he was cooning and shucking and all of that, but since he went solo, and that's something I've always said about Stephen A. I'm like, why won't Stephen A. just go solo and leave ESPN and do your own thing? But I guess when you making $8 million a year, hey, that maybe that's why. But I think he has the notoriety. If he really wanted to just do his own thing, he could. But that mentality he got, he'd rather work for somebody. He'd rather, yes sir, master, what you need me to do? You know, it's like Queen Latifah set it off. She said, man, they was paying people $15 an hour at that plant before they closed down. She said, man, for $15 an hour, I'd be an old, what I gotta do, sir ass nigga. Like some people just they'd rather just shine shoes and keep it pushing. So let me know what y'all think about Stephen A. Smith taking up for Jerry Jones.